Hello everyone, this is Yoko. On this channel, I feel that information about what is happening in China is often not correctly conveyed to countries other than China, so I will be disseminating the information I have gathered in English. I'm getting information from multiple media, so I'd be happy if you could comment on the content of the video. Also, my native language is not English, so I use an AI speaker to create the voice to convey the information correctly. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and support us. This time, I will talk about the case where the roof of a junior high school gymnasium in Heilongjiang province collapsed and many students died. By the way, the number of victims has been announced, but I think that the official announcement cannot be trusted because of information control in China. As for the cause of this incident, Chinese media claimed that construction was being carried out in the building next to the gymnasium. The construction company put construction materials on the roof of the gymnasium, so I think it's strange that the roof collapsed under the weight of the materials. I saw the image of the collapsed gymnasium, but in the photo of the gymnasium after the incident, the ceiling part completely collapsed. It seems to be the point where the rebar supporting the roof was supported, but it seemed that the rebar supporting the roof horizontally and the vertical rebar in the building were not connected. In other words, there was a problem with the original building, and normally the roof would not collapse due to the weight of the materials, but this time the entire roof collapsed. If the roof had been constructed correctly, even if the roof collapsed, the reinforcing bars would have remained. Chinese media reports said the problem was placing materials on the roof. If someone who is knowledgeable about architecture checks and verifies the problem, it can be seen that there is a problem with the building itself in the first place. If there are many places that are making buildings like this, there is a possibility that the Chinese real estate industry will panic, so even if there is a problem with the building, it may not be possible to admit it. Photos taken from above of the incident have gone viral worldwide. The picture is so clear that it will not be able to fool the eyes of the experts. The information control in China on this matter is probably meant to reduce the spread of information about the victims and to prevent the spread of experts' views on the safety of buildings within China. I have time to introduce another topic. It is a story that a large-scale fraud was committed in the standardized examination for university entrance in China, and those who did not cheat were disadvantaged. Families, worried that their children will be disadvantaged in the exams, apparently gathered in front of government-related facilities to protest. As I introduced in the previous video, the standardized exam in China is not taken under completely equal conditions. For example, there is a system that adds points for ethnic minorities and areas that are supported. So, depending on where you take the exam and what kind of ethnic group you are, the results will change even if you get the same score. By taking advantage of this system, people who should not have been given additional points may cheat in order to receive favorable treatment in the exam. Some people may wonder if it is so easy to find out what ethnic group an examinee is or what region they live in, but in China, you can change your record with a single human relationship. Records are managed by the government office controlled by the Communist Party. As a general trend, it is a mechanism that gives points to areas that are left behind in economic development. Also, there is a policy to move a lot of Han people to places like Tibet that are not Han people's areas, so people living in Tibet are treated favorably. It's easier to change where you live than it is to change your ethnicity. So some people actually move, and some people try to get extra points for moving. Recently, in China, it seems that there are companies that undertake the procedures to take the exam in an advantageous land. Therefore, many people who do not actually live in the area have moved to areas where they are treated favorably in examinations, and have requested procedures to ensure that they are treated favorably in examinations. Therefore, it is no longer possible to distinguish them from those who take exams normally, and even those who do not cheat are affected. The fraud has been there for a long time, but it has become so big that the problem has surfaced, and it has developed into a situation where ordinary students and their families are making a fuss. By the way, China used to be an academic society. When the number of university graduates was small, life after graduation was safe. However, in China today, there are no jobs even after graduating from university. Therefore, I have no hope of graduating from university, but I am in a situation where I will go to university for the time being. Recently, the number of Chinese students studying in Japan and the United States is increasing. According to one article, there were more than 230,000 foreign students who came to Japan last year, but more than half, or more than 100,000, were Chinese students. Since there is no place to work even after graduating from a university in China, I am thinking of studying abroad and finding a job in the country where I am studying after graduating from university. China is a highly competitive country, so many of the Chinese who come to study abroad are academically excellent. Many Japanese university students play around, but Chinese people study hard in order to live, so there is a high possibility of getting a job in a good place. This international student incident is already happening in Canada. There were a lot of Chinese students studying in Canada. Chinese students study hard. In the first place, Chinese people who do not have the ability cannot go to Canada, so the level is high when they study abroad. Then I went to Canada to study more, so the well-paid jobs in Canada were taken by Chinese students. People who originally lived in Canada have been deprived of job opportunities. I think there is an opinion that it can't be helped that people with ability can get good jobs because of the principle of competition. If you only look at academic ability, international students are better. In the first place, there are many cases where people with academic ability in their own country study abroad, so it is natural that their academic ability is excellent. However, I think that judging people only by academic ability, which is easy to quantify and compare with others, is too simplistic to evaluate people living in the same society. For example, few people in Japan speak very loudly when talking to people outside, but there are many people in Shanghai who speak loudly. It is impossible to quantify and compare whether people who speak loudly like that will get along with the people around them when they come to Japan. Whether or not you can adapt to the society and culture of the country you study abroad in cannot be determined without looking at various factors other than academic ability. And since there is no index to judge other than academic ability, in the end it will be judged by academic ability and workability. International students will continue to come to many countries in Japan, Europe, and the United States, but it may become a problem for them to be placed in important positions in their countries after graduation. In another 10 years, most high-paying jobs will be taken over by international students. That's all for now. See you next time.